Welcome back to Super Tuesday Recap with your hosts, Chris and Deepam here. And we are going right into Season 3 of Legend of Tomorrow. The first episode is Aruba-Con. Love to play on words here. When the Time Bureau relieves the Legends of duty, they must steal back the Wave Rider when Julius Caesar is spotted in Aruba. Look here, man. This show's just fun.
Yeah, like talk about a show that did not start strong but found its legs. And if you had told me that I would be excited for season 3 and like giddy about how much just flat out fun the show is during season 1, I would have called you a crazy person.
And what I love about, first of all, the last episode of last season was Aruba. And the first episode of this season is Aruba-Con. Yeah, it just you have the whole Julius Caesar, the Rubicon. Like, it's just everything they did here just with the titles, fucking hilarious. But tonally, I think that, and this is the great thing about Legend of Tomorrow, right? It comes off so silly, but it works, and it's something that, if you think about it, this is the thing we were just talking about with the Flash, where the Flash lost it in season 3, where and I think that after season 1, Legend of Tomorrow got it. Think about it. That first season of Legend of Tomorrow was kind of dark. Like, the entire season is them trying to stop Vandal Savage, who was literally trying to murder two members of the Legend.
No, not just the Legends. Also, Rip Hunter's wife and child.
Oh yeah, Rip Hunter's wife and child.
They kept showing us.
Right, they kept showing. It was just so dark. Since then, the show has literally basically been fuck ups in space. But you need these fuck ups.
But that's the show that you want. Like,
right.
Sometimes we screw things up for the better. That's it. That's the show.
That's our new motto. Which I love that. Yeah, sometimes we screw things up for the better.
That should be your new motto. Then Sheriff says that's our new motto. I was like, wait a second.
Right. But it's so true. And so you have them showing up, and again, we ended last season with them showing back up in fucking Star City, and there's fucking T-Rexes, and everything's going to fuck up, is going to shit, and they're like, what the fuck? Well, we kind of did screw up the timeline, but we did save the world. We did save reality because they had to. And then Rip Hunter shows up with, he had created the Time Bureau, and they're going in to fix things, which, again, this episode filled so many little gaps, not gaps, but little things for me. You had the Men in Black little flasher things. You had this Time Bureau that kind of reminded me of, what was that movie? The Adjustment Bureau, that movie. You had...
Well, no, this is a real interesting entity from DC Comics.
No, I know that. I know, but I'm saying just in tone-wise and the things that I saw here, I know it's from the comics, but it's like, it kind of reminds, like, if you knew nothing about the comics, you see a lot of other things from pop culture that pop up in it.
There's a lot of touchstones culturally.
Right, and it works, so you don't have to be, into the comics to watch Legend of Tomorrow and be like, this is actually kind of cool. And Rip Hunter's a dick, and yes.
By the way, this is a good rip, by the way. I know you and I were kind of sick of Rip. This is good Rip.
No, I like this Rip. Like, this is...
Bureaucratic Rip, who's still got that fuck it gene in him. He's like, don't scratch the car. Like, tosses the keys to Sarah at the end. Like,
right.
This is great.
Right. But no, Legend of Tomorrow has been the show so far that has, had stumbled out of his first season, realized his mistakes, and quickly adjusted. And you got to give CW as a whole, the CW DC team as a whole, credit for this. They stumble sometimes, and for the most part, they come back the following season and they correct those mistakes. And so one of the things they realize after season 1 is, Rip Hunter's actually a terrible captain. He's a terrible person to have as lead of this show. Sara Lance is it. Like, that's the captain. That's the person who should be in charge. And so we need to figure out a way to do that. And so what they did in the last season, they took him off the board for a while, had Sarah, and brought him back. This season, you want to keep Rip Hunter around, but you put him in this bureaucratic role where, like you said, he still has this fucking gene in him, but then you still have all the legends still look to Sara. Because that's like, even down to the fact that Mick calls her and is like, hey boss, what are we doing? Like,
well, you know what it is? Rip's the coach. Sarah's the quarterback.
Yes. Yeah.
Rip's the coach. That's fine. Coach, we respect your position. We don't like you.
Right.
We fuck with the quarterback.
Sara, I want you to go in and we're going to run this run play. Sure thing, coach. I'm calling an audible, though. You know that, right?
Sarah and that Willie Beeman. She got that Willie Beeman.
Right. You know I'm not running that play, right, though, coach? You know I'm not going to do that, right? Damn it! Run the play!
That's a bad play, coach.
Right. I respect your opinion, but I'm the one on the field, so
yeah, got to go.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I like how I even like the idea of how where all the legends try to go after they were told they were fired from being time masters and changing time. Like, their lives sucked. Sarah's working in a fucking department store. And it's just like, she's a former League of Assassin member folding towels.
Yeah, but she also kept her training up tight. And like the fourth or fifth time that Mitch got mad at her about that shit.
Right. Right.
Don't throw the merchandise. Fuck you, Mitch.
Right. Like, I even like how Mitch got a little bold. Was like, I know you were formerly dead, but you can't. I'm like,
you're
Mitch.
like, I hired you. You've been dead twice.
Yeah. Like,
what do you think? Does that mean you think I'm scared to die, Mitch?
Right, Mitch. I just
died twice, Mitch.
Don't piss off the employee that likes throwing knives, Mitch. I'm just saying, for your own longevity, don't do
right?
that.
Like, if there's someone you can be able to start talking to, that's someone you send an email to at 5:01 on Friday.
Yes.
That's not someone you pull them aside mid-shift. What are you doing, Sara? No. Be polite with Miss Lance.
Right. Ray working in Silicon Valley for a dating app. I'm sorry. I can't remember what they called it. It's some fucking
something. Yeah.
Something fucking stupid.
And do we remember that Ray renamed the city?
Right. Well, that's
like Ray's rich ass straight up went to Starling City. Was like, that Ling pretty weak. We're gonna be Star City now. So give it the times.
So here's the thing, and again, I'm gonna be fair here with some criticism. As much as I like these little characterizations, they didn't make sense, right? Like, there's no way Sara gets a job as in a fucking department store. There's no way Ray Palmer. I don't care what they say Felicity did to his company. There's no way Ray Palmer is working for some douchebag in Silicon Valley.
Taking, like, cell phones by hand on his ride to Felicity's place.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, here's a prototype just made in the car. Take it. It'll make you money for years. Like,
yeah.
What?
So look. As much as I like those where those two ended up, they were the most bullshit. Like, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, they don't make sense. But in the episode, I'm like, fuck it, they're funny, so I'm gonna let it ride.
Nate's made sense.
No, everybody else made sense. Nate's made sense.
I love Nate.
Oh, I love Nate. Trying to be I even love the fact that Kid Flash showed up. I love the fact that it was Wally show up, and I hope they do that more with Wally. Like, have him, have him be the one that shows up. And were they in Central or were they in Keystone?
Central, because he explicitly said I'm the second most popular hero in Central City.
Okay, yeah,
I was listening for it.
Okay, all right. I was like, oh, that'll be Keystone. I couldn't remember. No, I love that Wally's the one that showed up. And with them saying I'm the second most popular, it's like that. I guess that means that this is before this technically took place before the last episode when Barry shows back up. But it kind of goes to the idea that, hey, listen, Wally might not be ready to fill Barry's shoes, but he's still a step above Nate, who, by the way, is still a fucking idiot.
Yeah, but he's also like the fanboy who got powers.
Oh, he is.
So of course he's gonna be like, I'm still doing this shit.
Oh, of course. And we'll get into Amaya later, and what's going on with that. We'll say that for the end. But Roy being Roy, so that makes there's nothing to say about that one. Stein and Jax. I really like what they do with this one. Because again, that's another one that makes sense. It was
the one, and I also like how they played it out through the episode. That was the relationship that would have the most logical tension on: do we go back to being legends?
Yes. You still have to deal with the idea of Professor Stein now has a daughter who is now pregnant. So now, not only did you guys change reality and give Stein a daughter, now you're bringing another life into the world that wasn't supposed to be there at all either. Listen, all right. Hey, look, I'm just saying, you're giving you give life, you gotta take life. I'm just saying, just in the reality of the situation. But no, and here's the thing. I also love the fact that they pull the idea that two things. One, when Jax was like, "Listen, I'm dropping out of school," and Stein's like, "Why, dude? I went through time. I worked on a time ship. Why the fuck would I want to sit in school and learn about things that I've been doing?" Right. And like I think that's a real thing. Like I remember when I was in college and I had I needed some extra credit, so I took this information science class. Right now, mind you, I was a computer science major, so I'm sitting in this class and they're literally going, "Well, what is a PC?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, what the? I've been doing this all of my life," and I can imagine that that's what Jax felt sitting in a class talking about, mechanical engineering. It's like he knows the Wave Riders engines. He knows what century is Rip from?
The 25th, maybe.
I thought it was the 25th. Yeah, he knows how to work engines that haven't been invented yet and will never be invented. In anybody in that school's lifetime. All right, he knows them back the back of his hand. Why the fuck would he want to sit in school? You opened his eyes. He's seen the world now. He knows too much. He can't go back in. He knows too much to go back in. It's like it makes total sense that Jax would want that. Which goes to the second thing is I love the idea that when we first started this, Jax was kidnapped by Stein.
Yep.
Stein kidnapped Jax.
That's a really good point. I didn't know about that.
Well, because here's the thing. Stein brings it up at the end. Stein brings it up at the end when he decides he's going to stay with the legends. He's like, "Listen, I'm the reason why you got into this mess to begin with. I've basically violated your rights and forced you into this adventure. Now you know all this stuff and you can't go back, and now you want to continue your adventure. I can't then also be the one to say I'm done with it now." He's like, "That's not fair to you. You didn't want to go to begin with. Then I force you to come. Now that you're enjoying yourself, now that I don't want to do it, I can't then do the same thing to you again and force you not to be there. So I'm gonna come." Like, one, I think that was a great point, a great gesture from Stein, and it shows some growth from his character because Stein's kind of been an asshole. He's really been selfish. He's been an asshole. So him doing this shows great growth on Stein's part, and also it goes back to acknowledging the fact that you kidnapped this young kid in the first fucking place. Yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I think that this relationship is going to be something interesting. They announced the dates. Victor Garber is leaving the show
to go do Hello Dolly, which I may have to go see.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting seeing how they handle that because Jax is still going to be around. So I don't know if they bring somebody else in, if they we'll see. But yeah, I'm glad that they're at least acknowledging this with Stein and Jax right now, because I think it was something needed. Because like I said, Stein's been kind of a dick. It just has. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, like I said, this I got Sara Lance knocking the fuck out of Julius Caesar.
This is the episode we needed.
Yeah,
this is the episode we needed. Like there's no big they do name drop a villain at the end who I don't know anything about, which I'm pretty interested in. But
Bolus, yeah,
I do think it's interesting. I think it's good and it leans into the show's strengths. If they were like, look, man, we're our best doing time travel capers. Let's do a time travel caper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's a time travel caper. And I also love the fact that they lean into the idea that the Legends are fuck-ups. Yeah, they saved the world last season because there was nobody left. There were no Time Masters left. There was nothing to do. And I love that the Time Bureau, like they were using the Wave Rider as a training vessel, and they went back and played the mission about blowing up New York with nukes. And then the Legends are like, yeah, see, I bet you they're not going to do it like we do it. And the recruits are like, no, that was a stupid plan. This is how you do it. And they're like, oh, yeah. But you got to remember, the Legends never had training. They weren't really trained for this. And they had to step up and do it. And then Rip makes a good point at the end. It's like, listen, yeah, they're heavy-handed. They're a chainsaw. We're a scalpel. But sometimes you need a fucking chainsaw. Sometimes you need somebody to come in there. Like you saw what happened with Julius Caesar when they were like, hey, you guys fell into a fucking trap. You guys aren't trained for this. You guys don't really field agents.
Not even a fucking trap. You fell into a shoplifting trap.
Right.
Set by a retail store.
Right. Right. So like I
like that Ray's in charge, and I like that. I kind of do enjoy that these guys need to be fuck ups, but there's a bureaucracy behind them kind of shaking their finger. That's kind of, I think that's important. It gives the show a little bit more of a purpose. But I really enjoyed the fact that at the end, it was like, oh, I must have lost my portal thing on my wrist. I don't know where I could have put it. Like, he knows Mick robbed him.
Right.
Like, he's very much he's the boss. He's the guy who started in the mailroom and used to fuck around and became the CEO. And he sees his buddies in the mailroom. He's like, yeah, keep the party going, man. Let's turn the music up. What are y'all talking about? Like, he wishes he was still on the Wave Rider, honestly.
Right.
But he knows what the work he's doing is important.
Right. And I think that, like I said, Rip knows that, the Legends do cause problems. They do fuck things up. But at the end of the day, sometimes you need people that are unconventional. You need people that see outside the box, and that's what this team is. That's what they are, and I think it's going to be interesting seeing how that works out. Like you said, he knew Mick. He knew Mick robbed him. He knew it was.
Like,
he was robbed.
I misplaced. No, you didn't. What are you talking about?
Right.
Also, I give it 3 episodes until Sara Lance sleeps with agent lady.
Oh, so either that, but they have to fight first. Because I'm like, or they fight at some point, she's either going to sleep with her, or she's going to fight her, or both.
I'm voting both, probably.
Yeah, I am.
Looking at Sarah's track record, I think both the safe bet.
Yeah, I think both the safe bet. I think it's Ava is her the Time Bureau agent's name. Because it's going to happen. Because again, hate to bring some other shows, but this show and Agent Shield has some of the best fighting with women. Like, they were both kicking. Like,
we get at least one Sara Lance like big moment a week, and this week it was her running across the shields.
Oh God, yes, that was fucking awesome. Running off the shield and then kicking somebody in the fucking face. It was a team up. It was a team up because it was a team with Ava. It was a team with Ava because Ava
had the chain.
Yeah, Ava had the chain. And I'm like, this is. I fucking love them, man. It's gonna be so good. Oh man, yeah, I love that. Also, Nate's a fucking idiot. Just had to throw that out there again. God, like, how the fuck did you get your? How'd you get robbed by Julius Caesar, yo? Literally had a giant ass book stolen from you by a guy in a fucking cape. Goddamn idiot.
Yo, like,
what'd you say? You were bringing
a selfie, and the book was gone.
Right. God, what? For a selfie. For a fucking selfie. It's a fucking child, man. Just a fucking child. Amaya. She could not do that last season.
Was that Amaya?
Was that Amaya? I thought it was Amaya. Pretty sure.
I thought that she got cast in something else, and what they're doing is, I thought that she'd gone back to night. Go on, let's see.
No. They're bringing the other Vixen in at some point, but that was definitely Amaya.
Okay, so clearly I wasn't paying that close attention in there.
Yeah, because she went. It was back in the time. It was back in Was it 1941, 42 or something like
42,
that?
yeah.
It's 42. Yeah, so it was back during that time. And she fucked them, fucked my white boys up. But yeah. But they are bringing in the other, like her. I guess that's her granddaughter. That are supposed to be her granddaughter, I think. Yeah. They're bringing in her granddaughter, who was on, I believe, Arrow that one season. So she is coming back at some point. I don't know if it's the same actress or not, but she will be on the show as well. But that was definitely Amaya. And like I said, she didn't have that power before, because it used to be that she would use the talisman, but she couldn't have the avatar to actually. One, it was like one avatar, and it wasn't that all they could attack outside of her. That was her controlling like 5 different avatars, and they apparently attacked those soldiers.
Right.
So something clearly is going on with Amaya, and I'll be interested in seeing how that plays out. And yeah, so. Yeah, look, man. There's not a lot to say about the show, because it's just a fun show to watch. And there were plenty of times I was just laughing my ass off watching this episode, and just how things were happening. And from Mick being mad that Julius Caesar broke his nose to to fucking Nate going on a fucking dating trying to go on a date. It's just all this stuff. The bro moments between Nate and fucking Ray. Like, again, they're two fucking idiots, man. Like, they're smart, but God.
And then Nate forgets that Ray's in a damn metal suit.
Oh, yeah.
And gets his shoulder jacked up because he's an idiot.
Yeah, God, you're fucking stupid, yo. The bro moments, yo. It's just so good. Oh man, yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to how this season plays out, and yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Like I said, this to me, out of the CW show, it's a fun show. It's a fun show that doesn't require a lot. You can just jump in and watch it, and I think that if, like I said, last season did a really good job of bringing everything together. I think we're gonna see the same thing here, And they're really giving us a show that we. One of the first season where they're literally jumping through time, meeting these different characters. I think next week is P.T. Barnum. You're meeting these characters, but it still fits into the larger theme of the show, and it's just fun. So I'm all in for it, man. I'm all in for it. So, you got anything else you want to say about this one?
No, I'm just excited that the show's back and that it's still fun and that it hasn't tried to change too much that's working. Like, people loved last season, and I am excited to see where we go from here, because Rip as dad and these is like the rebellious kids in an 80s movie. These guys are the Goonies, and Rip is the parents, is the best version of this show, I think.
They really are.
They're the fucking Goonies.
They really are. Oh my God, they really are. Like, I love the fact that they, like, well, and look, I mean, we're laughing about the non-serious moments, but I love even the fact that at one point, like, the conversation Caesar and Sarah had. Sarah always has these interesting conversations with these male characters in history. Because she had the same thing that happened. She had another conversation with George Washington, I think it was last season, right? And she always has these really interesting conversations with these older figures. And it's Sarah kind of, also, while she comes off as reckless, and they're not, she's also knows that she's responsible and she's a captain. So at one point she's like, listen, we do fuck up. Maybe we should just take this back to the Time Bureau. Maybe we should just let them handle this, because, hey, we don't want to make things worse. And she has to make these decisions because she is the leader of the group. And everybody looks to her for that leadership. So, yeah, I think that that's something that we saw really develop last season, and we're going to continue to see that because, like we said, Captain Sara Lance just has a certain ring to it. Oh, and last thing, there's definitely a mole inside of the Time Bureau, right?
Say that again?
I said there's definitely a mole inside the Time Bureau, right?
Oh, yeah. Caesar getting out's a problem.
Right, because they didn't know.
Caesar speaking English is a problem.
Right. Yeah, they didn't. Well, they kind of explained the English thing. They explained the English thing, but just the idea that they didn't know that Caesar was displaced. Like, how did that happen? Yeah. I definitely think that there's some, and this is where I come into, I think that Ava is part of that mold. She's working with somebody. So I'm putting my calls in for that. So I think that's about it, man. You got anything else you want to say about this?
No, I'm here for the season. Let's do this.
Yep, let's do it. So, again, folks, thank you guys very much for listening. Make sure you subscribe to Super Tuesday Recap feed. We got plenty of stuff coming out. There will be reviews for The Gifted coming out not next week, but the week after next. We record next weekend. We'll be recording reviewing the first 3 episodes of that. We'll also be coming up on the next 3 episodes of Star Trek Discovery, so keep an eye out for that. We also, make sure you subscribe to us on the YouTube channel as well. We have interviews with the cast of The Gifted. We have interviews with the cast from Future Man, which is a Hulu original show coming out. I have Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. interviews are coming out soon as well. I might wait a little bit because they're not really revealing anything. There's just fun moments of the cast. They don't really reveal anything about the season, but I might hold those until we get closer to that show comes back. And we have plenty more show interviews coming out as well. So just stay tuned for all that stuff. And look forward to the rest of this season. So again, folks, thank you very much for listening. And until next time, we're out of here. Peace.